Welcome to the third view and do for the second familiar essay. This is on Kramer, and I've selected Kramer to talk about using sources. She doesn't use a lot of sources in her essay. She concentrates on Montaigne and his essays, uh, but she quotes a lot from his essays. She uses the essays to make her essay more complicated, more involved. Uh, the the purpose of her essay, or the theme of her essay, is actually to um, tell us about the essayist Montaigne. So she necessarily has to quote a lot from him, but she quotes from him by not trying to make points as much as she quotes to describe him, to describe his writing, to describe who he is. And then she takes people like Lucretius, and she brings in more modern stuff like Google in order to give us a little bit of contrast. So, for her to talk about Montaigne without really elaborating on his writing would be to write an essay that doesn't fulfill the purpose of explaining who Montaigne is, because he's a writer and he's an essayist, and she's writing in that form in order to describe who he is and what his writing is like. So, in a way, it's not the best kind of example of what I'm talking about when I say use research, but don't use it to make and support a point. Instead, use it to go off from particular points so that your ideas get to be more complicated. It's the bottom line here is that it's your ideas that we're interested in, and not the source's ideas. You're using the source in order to bring your ideas alive, and not vice versa. Okay? Okay, so read this excerpt here and talk about it in terms of how she uses sources and how you will then use sources in your paper. Excuse me. Because I want you to use these view and do's, like I've explained before, as a way for you to do pre-writing for your particular essay. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.